Oh, we're live.
Well, at least we're on the camera. Oh, who knows what we're doing?
If you need to,
Yeah, we're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. We're live.
We're live?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we're live. How about that? All right. Shout out to all our viewers for your patience as we try to get over what we're doing here in the morning. Get ready for the time off because we have a 3-day weekend ahead of us live from the New Media Studio here at beautiful Valley School. This is live. Oh. In a while though, so don't. All right. Good morning, staff and students. Today is Friday, February 8th. For our patriotic observance, we're going to take a look at why we have next Monday off. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of the United States and is regarded as, I'm waiting for the teleprompter, there we go, one of America's greatest heroes due to his role as savior of the Union and emancipator of the slaves. On January 1st, 1863, Lincoln delivered the Emancipation Proclamation, reshaping the cause of the Civil War from saving the Union to abolishing slavery. On November 19th, 1863, Lincoln delivered what would become his most famous speech and one of the most important speeches in American history, the Gettysburg Address. The Civil War, Lincoln said, was the ultimate test of the preservation of the Union, created in 1776, and the dead at Gettysburg fought to uphold this cause. Lincoln evoked the Declaration of Independence, saying it was up to the living to ensure that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. And this union was dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. He was suddenly and tragically assassinated at a time when his country needed him to complete this great task remaining before the nation. His eloquence of democracy and insistence that the union was worth saving embody the ideals of self-government that all nations strive to achieve. Lincoln's distinctively human and humane personality and incredible impact on the nation has endowed him with an enduring legacy. Let's learn more about President Lincoln.
We've gotten the story of Abraham Lincoln quite right. He was a little bit better than the rest of us.
He's probably the smartest person ever to be president. And his learning curve is amazing.
He had his beliefs, and he stuck to his beliefs at a time when it wasn't popular to do so.
And at all of our crisis times, we've needed leaders who were just a little bit better. But Lincoln was really that good.
The essential thing to remember about Abraham Lincoln was that there was nothing in his background that predicted that he was going to be president of the United States. And in fact, if Lincoln had not been elected in 1860, almost no one ever would have heard of him. He was an accomplished lawyer, and he'd made a name for himself as an anti-slavery orator in the late 1850s. But even at his election, no one expected great things of Abraham Lincoln.
He was a man who became president at maybe the worst moment in our country's history.
At the beginning of the war and the beginning of his running, Lincoln did not advocate black equality.
Lincoln's principal objective was to save the Union, and then we'll deal with slavery. But before too long, he had to both save the Union and deal with slavery through the Emancipation Proclamation.
Here was a man who very reluctantly was sort of taking on the issue of slavery. He really did not want to. I mean, if you read any literature, he never really wanted to embrace the slavery issue. It wasn't his issue. And yet he sort of, over a couple of conversations with Frederick Douglass, and really over time, came around to embracing that issue.
By 1864 is the best commander on either side. He understands the entire strategy of the war on a continental basis. He understands how to use the Navy. His orders to Grant are impeccable. Lincoln is, in the truest sense, the commander-in-chief.
By the end, Lincoln had totally grown to where he said that not only should blacks not be slaves, they should be treated as equal citizens with full enfranchisement, right to vote, right to participate. So Abe Lincoln was a person and president in progress. And the Lincoln that was assassinated was not the Lincoln that was first inaugurated.
even after his election and his inauguration, there were long moments when Americans could say, what have we gotten ourselves into? Why did we choose this guy? And does he have the ability to rise to the challenge? The mythology of Lincoln all occurs, well, after his election, after his inauguration, and in particular, after his assassination.
The tragedy of his assassination, which unfortunately, that's what I think has helped create the martyr that he became.
He becomes Father Abraham. He becomes, for the next 2 generations, he becomes the personification of the American belief in liberty.
You won't be able to get anybody to agree on who a great president is, except Abraham Lincoln. I don't think you'd find an American who wouldn't say that he wasn't the greatest president.
Our picture of the day was sent in by Coach Shimasaki. All levels of Falcon football were invited to a banquet in Club 59 on Wednesday for an evening. I'm just going to wait. Of celebration, reflection, and all-around good times. Awards were presented to several of the athletes who proved their strength and connectedness on the field as part of an amazing team. Speaking of amazing team, we have a great team of counselors here at Valley, and today Mr. Guillen joins us for Counselor Corner.
Thank you, Mr. Rosema. So students, today we're going to talk about the effects of trauma. So the objectives for today's presentation is to define what is trauma, identify the kinds of trauma, potential effects of experiencing trauma on your personal social well-being, and what do you do if you've experienced trauma or someone you know has experienced it. So usually when people think of a traumatic event, they think about someone experiencing a horrific car accident or a soldier in a war experiencing a terrible loss. Although those are forms of trauma, trauma can come in other forms. Trauma is simply defined as a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. Sexual abuse or assault, physical abuse or assault, emotional abuse or psychological maltreatment, neglect, serious accident, illness, or medical procedure, victim or witness of domestic violence, and victim or witness of community violence. Those are all examples of trauma. In a study that was published in 2013, which looked at the prevalence of harmful child and family experiences among children in the United States aged 0 to 17, the study found that 50% of the nation's children have experienced at least one or more types of serious childhood trauma. The study found that out of the 50%, 4,331 children experienced shooting, 762 were murders, 324 children were injured, and 36 children were killed. So what are the consequences of trauma? Trouble sleeping, thinking about the incident often, wanting to not think about it, avoidance of people or places, trouble concentrating, not feeling close to friends or family. You have difficulties remembering, loss of hope, unable to feel strong feelings, less interest in things including school, irritability, jumpy or overly careful, and flashbacks. In another study that was done by Kaiser, the study found that adults who reported multiple harmful experiences in childhood were much more likely to suffer a range of negative health and social outcomes in adulthood. Some of those were depression, substance abuse, alcoholism, smoking, heart disease, lung disease, contracting HIV or a sexually transmitted disease, and suicide. So what do you do when someone you know has experienced trauma? We care. Get help. Talk to a trusted adult who can help. A teacher, a counselor, parents, a family member, etc. Therapy services are available on campus. Your counselor or a trusted adult can refer you to a community agency which offers therapy. And you also have access to the crisis text line. You can text EMM to 741-741 24/7, and it's free as well.
Good morning, Falcons. Here's today's Falcon Flash. Yesterday's course recruitment fair was very successful with hundreds of students visiting each table and talking with teachers and students about all the different classes we offer here at Valley. Your Aries portal is open once again for you to enter the courses you would like to take next year. Use the course codes in your Falcon Flash classroom to enroll, or wait until you see your counselor later this month. Your access to make changes with your course request that was shut down at 3 today. Dancing with the Staff was last night, and the audience was treated to quite a show. Let's take a look.
Welcome to the 5th annual Dancing with the Staff.
Baby, what should I do? What should I do? Baby, no. I promise it won't be nasty, so hold it on. Keep it tight, don't forget about it. Just take it It's been a good summer. edible. Meals and wax, certain shades and face, summer edible. Lingerie filled another room. Slip off the feet like a broom. 'Cause I want you and I need you. I'm down for you always, baby. Do you love me? Yo no sé mañana, yo no sé mañana si estaremos. Nicky Bones up, Nicky Bones up, Nicky Bones up, Bones up, Nicky Bones up, Nicky Bones up. Yo she a one, my girl, Nicky Bones up.
All right, it was a great show. Congratulations to all our winners, and thanks to everybody who participated in Dancing with the Staff. Awesome, awesome. All right, National School Counselor Week finishes today, but our love and appreciation for our counselors remains endless. To wrap up the week, our counselors are sharing how they are building better humans. So let's take a look at what they had to say. My telephone person is left, so I'm gonna have to read over my shoulder here. Miss Garcia Ortiz looks to self-care because when I take care of myself, I pour more positivity into everything I do. It's a good one. Mr. Guillen's method is by spreading the value of communication and empathy toward others. From Ms. DeLulo, it builds better humans by seeing the good in others, magnifying their strengths and not their weaknesses. Dr. Padilla is building positive and empowering interactions with students. And finally, Ms. Perez is committed to encouraging my students to practice self-efficacy. That's fantastic. Now, we asked you to also participate in appreciating our counselors as well. And here's what a few of you had to say. Take a look at the screen there. We'll go through a couple slides and show you what your answers to the questions were and the prompts that we had in your Falcon Flash classroom. All right, excellent. We're about over to Salas again.
The Global Business Academy is having a global market day today during lunch at Valley Alley. Academy students are here in the studio to tell you what they have to sell at the market.
Oh, hello guys. Hello Falcons. My name is Marcellus.
Kevin Vasquez. Kevin Olvera.
We're from the Global Business Academy and our group name is called YCH.
We're going to be selling treat bags. They have a bunch of different candies in them like Kisses, lollipops, and Sour Patches.
And the bags will be found in front of the Valley Alley and will go around for $4.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, Falcons. We'll be participating in Global Market Day as well, starting today, the 8th to the 13th. We will be selling Valentine's gift baggies, which will cost $5 each.
And if you're interested in buying one, we'll be around campus. And like I said, if you're interested, we'll give you a receipt. And with that receipt, you'll be able to use it to pick up your Valentine baggies, which will include kisses, candy flowers, and a love note, which you can give to your significant or anyone you care about.
The chocolate baggie, the Valentine's themed gift baggie will look like this. We couldn't have the stuff inside due to school rules, but it will be this size. It will cost $5, and it has chocolates, a candy flower inside, and a heart inside, which you can put a message in. We will be located at Building 6 after school, the 13th to pick it up, then and only, but we will start selling them today. Like, we'll give you reservations. Great stuff.
Seniors, we only have 20 grad night tickets left to sell to you. I want to give a special shout out to my cameraman Juan and the baseball and softball team that both have doubleheaders tomorrow starting at 9 at Estancia and Saddleback. And that's it for today's Falcon Flash. And remember, Falcon Fever, catch it!